Welcome to the WP Builds podcast, bringing you the latest news from the WordPress community. Now, welcome your hosts, David Wormsley and Nathan Wrigley. Hello there and welcome to the WP Builds podcast once more. This is episode 103, entitled Adam Preiser Talks About Making eCommerce Easy with CartFlows. It was published on Thursday, the 22nd of November, 2018. My name's Nathan Wrigley from pictureandword.co.uk, a small web development agency based in the north of England. And as I said, I'll be joined a little bit later by somebody you've probably seen on YouTube from WP Crafter's channel, Adam Preiser, here to talk about his new e-commerce plugin. The WP Builds podcast is brought to you today by GoDaddy. This episode of WP Build is sponsored by GoDaddy Pro. Do you build websites for clients? Well, if you do, you should check out GoDaddy Pro. Sign up for free and get tools to manage all your WordPress sites and clients in one central dashboard. Learn more at godaddy.com/pro. And by the Page Builder Framework. The Page Builder Framework is an easy to customize, mobile responsive and lightning fast theme for your WordPress website. It works with Beaver Builder, Elementor, Divi and Breezy. Go to wp-pagebuilderframework.com today. We thank all of our sponsors for their support of the WP Builds podcast. Just before we get stuck into the whole thing, I'd like to mention a few things. Obviously, it is Black Friday very, very soon. This is published the day before Black Friday. There's lots of deals floating around, and at the moment, if you go to wpbuilds.com/black, then I've got a massive page together there, organised probably, 70 or 80 deals, maybe not quite as many as that, but loads. I found the cream of the crop. You can filter them and search for what it is that you're needing, and you will, in some small way, be contributing to this podcast if you choose to click on my links, because there is a small affiliate commission that I'll be paid if you do that, and that would make me very happy indeed. Thank you for that. Obviously, if you go to wpbuilds.com/subscribe, you can subscribe to our channel, and you'll find a whole load of links there for things like iTunes and Google Play and Slack and the Facebook group, which is growing exponentially. Come and join us there. But also, if you go to wpbuilds.com/advertise, we are now offering advertisements, as you've just heard on the podcast. We're offering these little audio inserts as well as banner ads, not just in this podcast, but on the news that we release on Monday as well. So please, if you feel able to sponsor us, that would be most helpful indeed. Okay, today's episode is all about a brand new e-commerce plugin brought to you by the guys at WP Crafter, aka Adam Preiser, and Sujay Pawar, who is the founder of Brainstorm Force. It's an e-commerce plugin for WordPress which is built on top of WooCommerce, and the idea being it's going to offer you more of a marketing approach to your pages. So they've taken the approach that they're going to build on top of WooCommerce, and you're going to be able to use your page builder, like for example Beaver Builder or Elementor, to customize the look and feel. It offers upsells and downsells, as many of those as you like, and it handles all of the linking of all those pages together so that all of it is kind of automated. Last night I did a webinar with Adam, and if you go to the show notes for this particular episode, you'll be able to find the link for that. I would really advise you to go and check out the webinar, actually, because it does, over a very, very short period of time, Adam explains exactly how the plugin works. And he also spent about 45 minutes at the end of the call just answering everybody's questions. He was very kind as well in that he gave us a bit of a deal. Now, the pricing is $5.99 normally, and although he's only given us $25 off, I was saying to him, well, $25 is $25. I think it's cheaper than you're going to find it anywhere else. You're going to be able to avail yourself of this by going to wpbuilds.com/cartflows And if you choose the coupon code field and type in WP Builds, all capital, no spaces, you're going to get yourself $25 off, which is great. I don't think that's being offered anywhere else. So take advantage of it if this suits you, but act quickly because I don't know how long it's going to last. Okay, great. Enjoy the podcast, and we'll see you on Monday for the news. Hello there. Thank you for joining us again today on the WP Builds podcast. We have an interview today, and we have somebody, I'm sure you know this person's name. You've probably seen him as much as you've heard him, because he's a WordPress YouTube phenomenon. He's all over the place making videos, although that's not what we're here to talk about too much today. I'll let you onto that a little bit later, but I'm going to say a warm welcome to Adam Preiser. Hello, Adam.
Hello. Good morning for me. Good night for you.
Yes. I have never asked you. I always talk to the guests before we actually do the recording, so we've had a good long chat already. But nevertheless, I never said, where are you? Where do you live in the United States?
I live in Southern California, so I'm just next to Los Angeles, within striking distance of Los Angeles. I live in a great town, a suburb called Chino Hills. And an interesting fact, I live across the street, literally, from my in-laws.
Oh, I don't know what to say about that. Is that good? I'm not going to get into the politics of liking or disliking your in-laws, and I certainly don't want you to drop yourself in it. So we're here today to talk a little bit about Adam's past, the things that he's done to bring attention to himself over the last couple of years and grow his very large YouTube audience, but also to talk about something new, which may have come across your radar by now. But first of all then, Adam, you are known for your YouTube channel, which is WP Crafter, currently standing at 80,000 plus subscribers. How's that going? Are you still enjoying doing those videos? Do you still, wake up in the morning and find inspiration, or is it getting harder than it ever was?
Well, I'll tell you, the WP Crafter, it actually started kind of as a fluke, and I've always been someone that likes to teach. And I think what I've discovered is I'm actually kind of good at making something complicated easy to understand for people. And so that's the core of what drives me, that and helping people. Each year, this year, on the channel, there'll be probably 3.5 million views. So I like to imagine that maybe 1 million people saw one of my videos this calendar year. And that's an impact, right? So I will be honest, there's some days I don't feel like recording, but after doing it and making 400 videos, I actually like it. I get into my element as soon as I click on record. I stumble around for 5 minutes, I get into my element, but I do it because I enjoy the connection with the people. I enjoy being able to have a positive impact in someone's life. So that kind of feeling never actually wears away. But I do feel that the pressures, you do an amazing job of consistency. I always feel the pressures of, I got to have 2 or 3 videos up each week. And then if I don't, and I'm behind, like last week I was sick and I didn't have any videos, I start to feel that kind of a pressure. But I love what I do. It's a huge blessing to be able to be in the position that I am, and I'm very humbled by it.
I was, interestingly, nothing to do with WordPress at all, but to do with YouTube. I was reading something in a British paper just last week about the fatigue which is borne by people who are YouTube, sensations, and we're talking here about the really famous YouTubers with 20 plus million. And they were saying that the algorithm that Google provides via YouTube is such that if you want to stay at the very cutting edge and you want to have those 20 million subscribers and you want your information to be pushed down their feed, that consistency is what kills them all in the end. They just can't keep up with the ravages that YouTube requires. And so, they have to put out content every week. Otherwise, the algorithms are such that other people's stuff gets put in their place. But I suppose it's not quite the same for people in the WordPress space. Certainly when I go onto YouTube, your stuff is constantly, like constantly in the sidebar, and very, very often it's the next video up. When I finish watching whatever it is that I've chosen to watch, your videos will come up. So you're definitely doing something right. Did you stumble into it? Were you sort of WordPress? Did you build clients for websites and things like that, and then just decide one day, oh, I solved a problem, I'm going to make a video? Or was it more contrived than that? Were you setting out to make a YouTube channel and to build this over time?
Well, it's a lot of things I think almost everything in life, there's an element of luck to it, or just being in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, and it just kind of ends up working out. So for me, I was sort of retired, like soft retired, where you're not really doing a whole lot. You don't have the financial pressures to have to go out and grind away. So I was semi-retired for several years before I uploaded my first video. And I don't actually know what drove me. I think maybe I was this is how most YouTubers get started, by just being inspired by some other YouTuber, right? You're there and you're like, wow, this guy's doing great, and look at the subscribers, and look at the impact that they're having. I want to have something like that. And then you hit record. The only thing is most people don't do it again. So I stumbled into it. I put a couple videos up, and really I wasn't paying attention to the views. I never looked at the views. I never looked at the subscribers. And then I was super casual about it. And then I looked back at it. I was on vacation with my wife, my family, and I pulled up the stats, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's 800 subscribers, and wow, I'm getting all these views. And it was like, oh my gosh, my videos, people like them. I had no idea. I wasn't responding to comments. I wasn't engaged in it at all. And I thought, wow, let me try to focus on this a little bit. I enjoy doing it. It's not super demanding. Fast forward to today, 400 videos later, what's happened has been a blessing. But it's important to note, when I started, I was kind of the only guy really doing this. Now there's like 5 or 6 guys that are doing it, and that probably helps me to make my next video, because there's kind of a friendly elbowing competition, and we do all talk. Just for anyone that's following several of the guys, we're all friendly with each other, and we don't see each other as competition. But there's a friendliness to it. But I'll tell you, I just kind of stumbled into it that way, and I'm so glad that I took a step forward and did. Maybe your story of the podcast is the same thing. You're like, I could do this. I like talking to people. I like meeting new people. Let me start a podcast. And then fast forward, you're interviewing Mr. WordPress himself.
Yeah, it is amazing. It is amazing. There was no I wasn't contriving to do it. I was going to give it a go for a certain amount of time, and maybe that's the same for you. But with the audio podcast, there's not so much that you can do. The audio is the audio. But I've noticed with the video, a lot of people are increasingly becoming more professional. And the stuff that you've been putting out recently, I noticed maybe, I'm going to say about 4 or 5, maybe 6 months ago or something like that. It went from looking really slick, and you had all of your the bottom, what is it called, the lower thirds and things like that. But then you've obviously invested in some like green screen technology or something like that, and trying to make it look almost like TV quality. Is that something that you sort of nerd out on? You like the tech behind it? You like to make the videos look professional and like they're straight off the TV?
You caught me there. I like new things. Even though I might complain about them, I do like doing new things. And so, yes, I had gotten inspired by live streaming technology. So I'll name the program because some people, I actually get asked this a lot. What program do you use? So I went from a basic setup, a $80 webcam and Camtasia, and a $60 mic that everyone starts with, right? Even podcasters. Mm-hmm. And then out of nowhere, I spent $6,000 or $7,000. I bought this $2,000 Sony camera, this expensive live streaming stuff, a green screen, a $400 mic. I bought the real deal stuff. And actually, I don't know what I was thinking. I'm glad I did it. But what I was thinking is, if I made these moves and I made these investments, and it kind of goes back to that burnout question that you had, or observation. Um, my goal has always been to make the highest quality product I can with as minimal effort as possible. So all my videos are like done in one take. And so I now use a live streaming software to record so I can do all the movements and animations while recording. So I have like
Ah.
very little editing. So that's actually what drove it. But you are right. I do enjoy getting things, but then I get things and they just sit here. I have this GoPro sitting here. I was going to hook it up in my car. And it's been sitting here for a month, and I got this Windows tablet. I don't even know why I bought it, and I forgot to return it. So it works for you and it works against you, right?
I always think with the podcast, whenever I come up with a new idea, I'm never aware of how long it's going to take, and very often some of the things that I embark upon are significantly more time consuming because there isn't a piece of software which will sort of do the zooming in and zooming out. But I just noticed that things had become a little bit more slick, shall we say? But that's the modern way, isn't it? There's so many pieces of. I mean, your stuff is not necessarily affordable, but you can get on YouTube and you can make high quality stuff, and it can be very affordable. But because everybody's doing that, then people like you who want to be at the forefront, you've got to up your game again and again and again. So the pressure keeps going.
My most watched videos are not the ones in the last 6 months when I had made this big investment transition period and all that kind of stuff. It was literally a $60 Logitech camera, the Audio Technica $60 microphone, a $10 mic boom, and that was it.
Yep.
Literally like $150.
Yep.
So, I always tell people that, the barrier, you don't have to do it like me. You don't have to, and I didn't even do it like I do it now for like most of the time. So
do you have a kind of like a schedule of the things that you're going to be doing, the YouTube videos, WordPress products, and so on and so forth that you're going to be doing over the next period of time, or is it more reactive to what's come out in the last couple of weeks? A new plugin emerges, suddenly everybody's talking about it. Oh, I better do that as a video because that's current and that's hot and that's what's going to be of interest.
It's a mixture, absolutely a mixture. So I had a video out last week, and it was prompted by a feature from Elementor called Finder that they just released.
Yep.
So that's more reactionary, but I do have to plan it in advance because in order to do a video in one take, most people can't do a video in one take. It's not their fault. But in order for me to be able to do a video in one take, I had to make 400 videos, but I have to know the video I'm going to make, and I just casually think about it for a couple days. So I think through, okay, what's the points I'm going to make, and I just kind of think through the flow. So when I hit record, I'm all ready to go. And I have a graphic designer now. So I have to let them know in advance. So then I have to be more intentional. So all the beginning videos I made, I really didn't do proper planning. I literally just hit record and went for it. But now I do have to plan it out just a little bit more. And it's a good thing, right? Because I want to have the best quality video, and I'm always working to improve. But I do have to have those reactionary videos.
When you are on YouTube, there's obviously a few mantras which people seem to obey, and that is, at the end of the video, you kind of sum it up and you ask people to subscribe to your channel and you ask them to, ring the bell and all that kind of stuff, and that's what everybody does. Is there some advice that you could give to people in order to grow? Are there techniques that you must go through? For example, do you have an email list which runs alongside your YouTube channel, or is everything just in YouTube? And are there any little tips that you've learned along the way that you think, I wish I'd known that 398 episodes ago?
Well, surprisingly, it seems very simple, having that call to action, whatever that call to action is. YouTube doesn't like it if you take someone off the platform. They do not like that. It's not actually good for your video. So a lot of the things that are actually good for you as the individual or the brand is actually bad in YouTube's eyes, the whole taking people off. I actually never tell people to go to my website because I want they'll eventually organically go to my website. I do obviously want people to know I have a website, but the probably the first 150 to 200 videos, I had no call to action, such as subscribe and click on the notification bell. I actually kind of hate, and some people hate that I have to do that, but I literally have to do that. If I don't say subscribe and hit the notification bell, people are just not going to think to subscribe and hit the notification bell.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have to say it, and I hate it, and I try to say it now as fast as humanly possible, because I don't want to. You have this balance. You need to grow your channel, but you don't want to irritate. You want to cater to the people that are loyal to you. So there's this balance. But I think what grows the channel, and here's what I think the secret sauce has been for me, is the concept, and I think it goes back to my strength, is I'm really a personality and a community builder. So the practical application of that is if someone leaves a comment, do your very best, especially in the beginning, to respond to every comment. And that's how people feel like, there's that concept of 1,000 loyal fans. You've probably heard it before. It's nothing new. That's how you build 1,000 loyal fans that will follow you around if you change platforms or something like that, because they feel like they have a connection with you. And I genuinely feel like I have a connection with them. Like I want to, if you ask me a question, I want to answer your question. I want to give to you more than you give to me, because I'm just naturally that way. But that is how you grow a YouTube channel, I think, is really building that community. Because you'll see it, like everyone sees this, right? You see a video, and not WordPress related, but just a video, and it's got like 10 million views. And you click on that video because you might be searching for that content. And then you look and they've got like 26 subscribers. And you're like, how is that possible? Well, it's possible because they didn't plan on the video and there's no call to action. So
yeah. Can I move us on a little bit? I'm going to change the subject, because although WP Crafter is a very large part of what you have done, you're at a fork in the road now. It'd be interesting to change subject, because we have a new thing. Adam has, well, you can tell us who you've joined forces with, because I don't know how much of that is common knowledge. I'm sure all of it now. Adam has a new product. So this is a first for him. It's a new product, and you can find it by going to CartFlows.com. So that's CartFlows.com. And my very first, very bland question in a way, I suppose, is what on earth is CartFlows? What inspired CartFlows? Why would anybody require CartFlows?
I love talking about CartFlows. It's a very exciting thing. There's a lot of people really excited about it. And so I always knew that, I knew early on with the YouTube channel, as it started to get some momentum, that I would eventually have a product of my own. And I knew that was the plan. But to do that, it had to be amazing. It had to be something long term. It had to be something that actually had meaning and would make a difference in people's lives. And let's just be honest. I'm sure if anyone's seen my videos, they're not surprised by this. I'm not a developer, right? It's like Steve Jobs. He didn't go and like make an iPhone. He had all the ideas. He had the determination for it to be a certain way, and he wouldn't get off of that. And I think I'm more like that. I'm not saying I'm like Steve Jobs, because heck no, that guy was amazing. But I always knew I'd have a product. But what I'm trying to say is it had to be done the right way. Every star had to align. And so over the past 2 years, there's someone that I built an incredible friendship with. And you never want to like start a company with someone unless you really know that person and you have the utmost trust in that person, because you're kind of married to something now. And so over the last 2 years, I had become very good friends with Sujay Pawar from Brainstorm Force, and they make products that are on millions of websites. So obviously, one of the things they're most known for is the Astra theme, which has been out for a year, and it's like the #2 WordPress theme. It's a really good product, but there's like a whole suite of products, and it's interesting. He's a lot younger than me. I think he's like, what's the numbers? Maybe 15 years younger than me. So over the last 2 years, we've become very, very good friends, meaning he lives in India. I live in California. If he lived here or I lived there, we would be like hanging out regularly, families getting together. That's like how good of friends we've had. And we've also helped kind of elevate each other. He's given me tons of advice and pointed things out to me. And it's almost like our private little mastermind going on. And age doesn't matter to me in that regard. Like, I'm like, oh, this guy's 15 years younger than me. I can't learn anything from me. No, I'm like, this guy is strategic. He's brilliant. I can learn a lot from him. And so fast forward 2 years, I thought, if I'm going to have a product, I want to do it with Sujay. He's got the team, he's got the experience, and he's just smart guy. And we have such a good friendship. It's going to have to be with Sujay. So he came out here. He was on his way to Mexico, and he stopped in LA at LAX, our international airport, and he was just going to be here a day. And this was in 2017, and I went and I picked him up. World's worst tour guide. And we ended up I'm embarrassed about that to this day. I actually had a chance this year, 2 months ago, to redeem myself, and I think I did a little bit. He was here for like 4 days, and so I took care of everything for him. That visit in 2017, we ended up in at the end of the day, I took him to a nice restaurant for like a steak and lobster. It's called Fleming's, a really nice restaurant. And we got to talking, and I told him, the conversation progressed. And out of that conversation came what today is this product called CartFlows. And CartFlows is a plugin that sits on top of WordPress, obviously, and WooCommerce, but it doesn't use WooCommerce for the front end. It just for the back end, for the integrations, the product fulfillment, creating products, and all that kind of stuff. So it's super easy. And what our goal was, and what our frustrations were with e-commerce with WordPress, our goal was to make e-commerce easy and more profitable for people. So right now, currently, there really isn't a way with WordPress to do some of these modern strategies that are really working with e-commerce. A perfect example is the typical e-commerce flow with WordPress is you got to go to a shop page, and then you click on a product, and then you click a button, and that adds something to a cart, but you might not be taken to the cart. So now you got to figure out how to get to the cart. Now that you're in the cart, I've got logos, I've got navigation links, and I've got coupon requests, and I got quantity adjustments. I got all these things, and then I got to click on checkout. Now that I'm on the checkout, then I have to enter my company name, and I've got to, there's all of these roadblocks. It's a very friction process, right, for someone. And it's complicated for the person just trying to have an e-commerce website, because now I got to pay attention to sidebars, and I've got to pay attention to shop pages and filters, and it's just a complicated thing, especially for someone that just wants to sell a product or two. So we wanted to make this process easy. We wanted to make it frictionless. We wanted to give total control to people over every aspect of their buyer's journey. We wanted to add opportunities to earn more money through having order bumps. That's where there's an additional offer at the shopping cart, one click and it gets added. It's usually something complimentary. We wanted to have upsells. So after they make that purchase, the order's still open and you can make an additional offer, downsells, custom thank you pages. And really, we're at a time where all of the stars just kind of aligned. We have these super mature page builders And I'm kind of known on my channel as the guy that just talks about those maybe a little bit too much. I got a bit of experience with these page builders. So we have these page builders and we have this great platform, WooCommerce. Let's just take that over and build something to make this super easy for people and give them the chance to make more money through their e-commerce shop.
So the idea is you leverage WooCommerce. So obviously everybody listening to this knows what WooCommerce is, I would hope. But you kind of don't really interact with WooCommerce a lot. The product is still very new, and so I haven't even had a chance to check it out, except on the videos that you've made demonstrating how it works, which are I don't know how available those are, but I've seen them. So it leverages WooCommerce, but it kind of feels to me like it's more geared to. So let's say, for example, I'm going to Amazon. It's Christmas time. I want to be able to fill up a cart. I want to buy 18 things all in one go. Fill up a cart, find the cart, process it. It gets delivered. I'm pretty sure that's not what this is. This feels a little bit more like you've got one core product. Let's imagine it's a course or something like that, which you want to sell. And then at the point where that purchase is going to happen, you strip out all the cruft and all the crud that's involved in the checkout procedure, make that simple, stick it all on one page, and then offer at the point of payment ways to sell other ancillary things, upsells, downsells, which WooCommerce doesn't do easily by itself. Have I summed that up in any way sensibly?
Yeah, well, there's actually two ways to use CartFlows. So I'm sure many of the listeners are familiar with a concept called sales funnels. There's a software as a service company. It's $100 a month for their limited plan, and they've made this a very popular concept, although it existed prior to that. And a sales funnel is just a targeted, guided sales process where there's multiple offers and all the distractions are removed. So the first usage of CartFlows is for that. And it couldn't be easier. You go to add a new flow. So let me just back this up. It's called CartFlows. So we don't use the word funnels. We use the word flows. And so that's why it's called CartFlows. And so you go in CartFlows, you click on add new flow, and you get this pop up, and it's going to know the builder you're using. Well, eventually we'll have it so it'll only show you templates based upon the builder that you're using. But we've built these entire sales funnels using your page builder that you already know, use, own, like, and actually enjoy using. So that would be Elementor, that would be Bivy. I'm sorry, not Bivy. That's funny. It will be Bivy. It is Bivy.
It's not one I've ever heard.
That's the new name, Bivy. Bivy Builder. No, there'll be Divi or Beaver Builder. So these are obviously the three most popular, and we're working on Thrive Architect and Breezy, but for launch it's going to be those. And so literally we have designed everything. So say you're selling some kind of a health and fitness supplement. Well, we've got an entire sales funnel designed specifically for that, where you literally click a button and it restores it, and say it would be a sales page, then a checkout page that reassures the buyer, oh, this is what I want, through testimonials, guarantee badges, no distractions, and then an upsell. And we've designed it all for you. One click, you restore it all, and you can tweak it and change it, and you can just add your product, and you're literally able to start selling something in a clear, targeted, guided way in 20 minutes. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Anyone would be able to do that. But that is a departure from the traditional e-commerce store. The traditional e-commerce store is you have like hundreds of products, dozens of products or whatever, and you have this kind of standard product page looking thing, and it's kind of rigid in what you can actually do with your product page. And then they go to a shopping cart where they can adjust quantities, add multiple items, and then they go to a checkout page. So there's all these steps. So the first way you use CartFlows is for these sales funnels, and we made them all for you. You can make your own. It'll work with just about any page builder, but we've made them for you to get you going as quick as possible. The other way you can use CartFlows is you can just use it in what we call as a global checkout. And what that allows you to do is just take over the actual checkout page. So you can still benefit if you want that traditional shop where there's all these product pages generated in the cart and all that. And then when they get to the checkout, we've optimized the way the checkout works, the fields. We've done so many things. I can't even list them in this video. I mean, this podcast interview, but you can have that global checkout with a global order bump, and then you can have a custom thank you page after that where you might tell them what's next, or an upsell or something along those lines. So there's these two ways that you can use CartFlows, but the main way was for sales funnels.
Yes, it's a really straightforward interface. Obviously, very difficult to explain in audio format, but by the time this goes out, there'll be videos and things, and you can check it out for yourself. But essentially, what it looks like is when you go in, you create this flow, and you get a stack of cards, one on top of the other. The one at the top is the thing that you'll do first, and then as you go down to the next card, that's the next part of the flow, the funnel. And then there's one below that and one below that, and it's it finally ends with the thank you page, and before that is the checkout page, and you can add in upsells and downsells and all of the stuff which people dislike about WooCommerce. The inflexibility, the fact that it's rigid, is taken out, and each of those parts of the flow. So the thank you page is a template in a page builder, and you can imagine how easy that is. You drop in a short code. That short code is then connected cleverly to the other short codes in the process, so it all connects. And if you move one part of the flow above another one, it works out that it's now been moved, and so the short codes combine so that the flow is linear, and it's how it should be. And then you can just make your thank you page look exactly how you like with the skills that you've already got. Your Beaver Builder templates or your Elementor templates. So it's really good, really clever. Did you and Sujay literally invent the idea for this in that restaurant, or is it just kind of emerged over time?
Yeah, well, it was the core features were in that conversation. Obviously, so we took a year to build this, and we didn't want to rush it. So I've learned so much I've learned so much from Sujay, but I've learned so much going through this process. And I think the one step that people might rush through is just seeing what else is out there. And we literally spent months buying, testing, using every single product out there to identify where areas we could improve. And so one of the consistent things that we saw with so traditionally, if you want a sales funnel, just so the audience knows, you have to go out. It's bizarre, right? We're WordPress people. We have a WordPress website, but if you want a sales funnel, you can't use WordPress because there was no checkout for it. And so you'd have to use like a ClickFunnels or a Thrivecart, and then you have all these moving parts, right? So in the ClickFunnels example, you have to use their builder, which is very, very weak. That's why if you ever see any ClickFunnels sales funnel templates, they all don't look great. They look like something maybe from the early 90s, and that's because their builder is just not quite the quality of what we're so lucky to have as WordPress users. We have the very best building experiences imaginable to date. They're so powerful, easy to use. We already own them, like them, and love them. So that was one of the big weaknesses with when we looked at all of the other tools out there. So it kind of shaped itself. We identified what it had to have. So we had to have split testing, something that's not common with WordPress. We had to have A/B split testing. So each step you can split test titles, text, images. You can split test the offers. You can split test everything. But really, I think what my initial vision is the determination to make this an easy thing. And it's not easy to make something easy.
You should write that down. That's brilliant.
Or I said it this way the other day. It's the hardest thing to make something simple. And it really is. And I know you like to use various apps as well. And these things are just so hard to use. They're not simple. And not simple because it's, basic. It's simple because why can't it be simple and powerful?
Yes.
So when you've seen the CartFlows interface, and I think we're going to do like a webinar so I can show it to people that are interested. We'll schedule a webinar that maybe a few days after the podcast goes out. And the interface took 7 iterations. Is that the right word?
It's
7 different.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes. 7 versions to get to the point where it's as simple as it is. And what we wanted was something where if you've used WordPress, you're going to feel right at home. Yeah. You're going to intuitively know what to do next. So you could literally watch a 5-minute video on how to use this, and you are off to the races with just about every single feature of it. I suppose,
sorry to interrupt. I suppose that's the point, isn't it? Is that whilst I was watching your video, it kind of, because you did it, you click the buttons and it all happened so quickly, you kind of forget the complexity that's been stripped away from you by doing that. So you basically clicked a button, decided on the kind of flow that you wanted, and all of a sudden 4 pages had been created. 4 pages with templates and nice designs, in this case in Elementor. And you did that by clicking one button, and they were ordered correctly. They looked nice, and then you can go back and change the look of them if you wish. You can swap out the template or just go in and modify the template. But because you did it so quickly, by clicking a button, it kind of makes you forget, actually, that probably would have taken me 40 minutes to do if I was doing it myself, and I would have had to know what I was doing. So yeah, it's speeding it up dramatically, isn't it? Yeah,
and it, I think it's a fun process. Yeah. I mean, I want people to using CartFlows, and that has been nothing's worse when you have to use something and you just dread it, right? You're like, oh my gosh, I got to log into that, and I've got to generate this thing, and I don't want to do it. We want it to be fun, where you're going in there and you're excited and you're like, oh my gosh, look at how beautiful these designs are. I'm going to be able to use that to sell my XYZ, and I can push a button and just change some text, and I'm off to the races. And just so people know, we're going to have Beaver Builder templates and Divi templates as well, so no one's left out. All the big 3, everybody's in on this party, and no one's going to be left out. But it is that simplicity. And you know what? I have to echo your thought there. When you do use it, you're like, wow, that was so easy. It's hard to imagine all the effort that went in to make it easy.
Yes.
I mean, the determination, it's kind of like where Apple made this iPhone, and the iPhone should have come out many years before it did. It changed the game in every single way. We all use smartphones, but there was this determination that this thing be easy to use. And it seems so like obvious, right? Yeah, you just have these big icons and it pops something up and there's this settings panel, but someone had to create that. Someone had to invent that, innovate that. And so that's what the same determination. That's why it took us a year to build this, was because we paid attention to every detail. And it's kind of goes back to who I am, right? I have this channel where I try to take something that maybe a developer didn't explain well, and I try to make it so people can relate to the product, see themselves using the product, and know how to use the product, and make it as easy as possible. So that way of doing things and teaching has just kind of gone right on into this product. You can tell I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, you're loving it. I'm on the CartFlows homepage, and at the current version of that homepage, and who knows how adaptable it will be, about slightly past halfway, we've got a section which illustrates 8 of the sort of primary features. And if I just sort of go through these, if you want to stop me at any point and elucidate on them, but some of them are labeled as coming soon, some of them not. But A/B testing, obviously that's a very important thing. If you're going to be trying things out, it's important to A/B test and see which image works, which layout of the checkout works, and so on. Cart abandonment, that's a nice feature. Obviously, see if somebody sticks things in a basket and then just clears off. I've actually made use of that today. Somebody suckered me in with exactly that feature. They got my email address before I left the website. I didn't go back, and then I ended up going back because of the email that came through. So it works. We've got analytics and tracking. Quickly spot the offers, the weaker ones, and improve them. Templates for everything. That's probably for me the most interesting thing, the fact that everything's going to be templated and there'll be little thumbnails of everything. So you want 12 checkout pages, here they are, click on the one that you like best and then tweak and season to taste. Dynamic linking. I think what that means is that everything's done for you. If you shuffle the order of the pages about and you put if you put 2 upsells in and 1 downsell, it's going to put those in, and all the links with all the buttons are going to work automatically without you having to go back in and check every single page that you've got the correct slug for the next step of the process and so on. Countdown timers. Who doesn't love a countdown timer on the checkout? Obviously, if you are selling something like a webinar, that's like super crucial. Time runs out and scarcity counts. Checkout custom fields, very nice. The ability to put in whatever data it is that you want to suck out in your checkout page. And then you've talked about this one already, global checkout. The idea that you can sort of or do all of this just for WooCommerce as it is at the moment. There we go. Good stuff. That's a lot.
You are great. You're great at explaining things.
I'm great at reading things. That is off the cuff. It's just off the back of the videos, though. But there is another aspect to this, because not only is it a product, but a quite interesting and unique angle that you've got is that you're bundling this with something which I'm just going to call training, because the product itself is it's a bit of a home run, I think. I think it's going to sell very, very well for you. But you've also bolted on your expertise of training as well. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
Yeah, well, so, our customers' success is going to be our success. So if someone buys CartFlows and isn't as successful, it hasn't made a positive impact in their life financially, then we've failed. And there's other parts to this outside of just providing a tool and a template and telling people how to connect it all. So, for example, you need to get traffic to your site. Well, how do you do that? So even though that's kind of outside of the product, we want the product to be more than just a product. And so what Suji and I did is we sat down, and it took a long time to come up with this. We decided that the best thing is to come up with a learning platform that our customers are also going to get access to. So if you're needing traffic as a brand new website, you're probably going to need to maybe buy some traffic, maybe a Facebook advertisement or something like that. So what we're doing is we've created a platform called SkillJet, and the premise of it is you will be able to come here, learn a new skill in a course that's under 60 minutes. Who has all day, right? You want to learn that one skill that's going to make a difference in you that day. And so what we're doing is we're going and we're getting industry experts in particular fields that are coming on our platform. They're going to make a course at 60 minutes about a specific skill for you that might interest you, and then you can go on there and learn from them. So, and it's beyond WordPress, obviously. So the example I gave of Facebook advertising. Another example, which is kind of personal, is I'm putting a 60-minute course there on how to make high-quality videos on a budget. If you've ever seen one of my videos and you're like, gee, how does he do this? And, I want to know. Well, here's how you're going to be able to know. All of our CartFlows customers are going to have access to this learning platform, and we're bringing experts on. We're bringing experts on to in their field to teach this. So say you want to learn how to have a podcast. Well, maybe Nathan, you could come on there. You have a very successful podcast that's organically grown. You can come on and teach people just kind of the mechanics of how to do that so that they could be successful. So we want people to be successful with using CartFlows, and it actually reaches outside of CartFlows, and that's how we're going to do that. And we're calling our students the jet setters. We want people to come have CartFlows and become jet setters in their industry. And we really want to build a community where we're able to lift people up higher than they thought that they could go themselves. And that's what SkillJet is.
So SkillJet.io, as of this point, it's a website in construction, shall we say?
Yes.
But the premise is that it's going to be a free edition for CartFlows, or will there be like a fee attached to it in order to get access?
So our initial plans are people that purchase CartFlows in the foreseeable future. So CartFlows goes on sale November 19th, 2018. So we are going to bundle, and I'm pretty sure we're going to just bundle it for even just forever because we really want to make sure people are successful. We're going to include it. Now, if you're not interested in CartFlows, we are going to have a separate annual plan if someone wanted to just get SkillJet.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. So it's going to be available, and we'll sell individual courses. But if you're a CartFlows customer, you don't have to worry about an annual fee or purchasing individual courses because you're just going to get all of it.
Okay.
You're going to get access to all of it.
So there's a nice upsell without a sell. Just a nice up, shall we call it? The pricing of CartFlows is not known to me. I haven't actually asked that question, so I don't know if you're able to answer that question. We're recording this just before it's released, a couple of days before it's released on the 19th of November 2018, as you said. Do you have any indication of where the pricing is going to be? What kind of model are you using? Is it annual? Are you doing a lifetime discount at the beginning? Any of that stuff?
Yeah, so I actually, because it's a little fluid until the launch date of Monday.
Okay.
How we're tweaking our plans. There are some things I can tell you, but there are some things I can't say in case we want to have the flexibility to make an adjustment.
Okay,
so
that's fair.
The first thing I want to say is we are going to have a lifetime deal, and I'm very excited about that. So there will be a lifetime deal for people that will include a lifetime of support and a lifetime of updates, and it's going to actually include a lifetime access to SkillJet, which I think is crazy. But we want to give back. The way I see it is, I've had all these loyal people on my YouTube channel. They're going to be obviously organically the first ones to know about CartFlows, and I want to make it possible for them to have a good deal as a way of saying thank you. So we're going to have a lifetime deal, and we're also going to have an annual plan. I think we might have the annual plan available on the Monday for people that might not be able to afford the lifetime deal. We'll have the annual plan, and the best thing is Monday is like right before Black Friday, right? So we've got deep discounts on both. However, I will say that, we want to take care of people. And I will say that the lifetime deal is not going to always be available. We're probably going to have it maybe through December and take it down. But a product like this requires a different level of support. So it's not really a sustainable model to have like the long term. So it's really going to be just a really short period of time, like for reals. And then it will just have annual plans available. Okay. And so, and if you're, say, a design agency or something like that, you can use this for your client's website. So like the current thing is you'd have to go and get them a ClickFunnels account, $100 a month, or maybe buy ThriveCart. That's kind of really like $695, the one you would want, and that has like 5 seats. But there's more moving parts with those types of solutions. So agencies are very excited about this, to be able to offer this for their clients without all the complexities of using multiple platforms that they don't want to use anyway.
So I think to wrap up, if you're an e-commerce user and you've been frustrated by the inability, should we say, to easily customize WooCommerce, and you've got an idea that you would like to use WordPress to create funnels and flows where there's options and upsells and downsells, and you're keen on page builders and the simplicity that gives to you, then you really go to cartflows.com, cartflows.com. Check out all the materials on there and see what you make of it. Adam, just before we finish, I always give the guests at the end an opportunity to drop their Twitter handle, or in your case, probably your Facebook, your YouTube link and so on. So anything you want to say, go for it.
Are you sure anything?
I have the magic edit key.
Yeah. Well, let me just say, Nathan, I respect you so much, what you've accomplished over the episodes and the quality of guests that you've been able to have on. No, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about your guest a few times ago. You are doing head-turning things, and I'm not the only one whose head is actually turning. So you're doing a fabulous job. Second thing, I want people to understand that CartFlows is more than, if you're not an e-commerce person, CartFlows is actually still for you. It's like the perfect lead generation tool. The way you do things now is you have a pop-up, some kind of opt-in form, some kind of a lead magnet. We're getting rid of that. You want to use CartFlows, send them to a cart, have the product be free, but then have a bump offer of whatever can get them the result faster, and it's optional, or maybe even a donation. You give me $20. We want to let people know that they could use CartFlows, even if they think I'm not an e-commerce person. There are amazing ways that you're going to be able to use this to capture leads and make money at the same time. So we're going to have training on all of that. Lastly, you guys can find me easy. Just Google WP Crafter, youtube.com/WP Crafter, Twitter/WP Crafter. I'm pretty easy to find, and I'll be super available next week for everyone with questions.
You are going to be the busiest man in WordPress next week. I've got a sneaky feeling that it's going to keep you busy. This podcast will be airing a couple of days after, because we always go out on a Thursday. So it'll come out a couple of days potentially after that. And we'll try to organize a webinar so that you can see around the platform itself and so on and so forth. But yeah, for today, Adam, thanks very much for coming on, and thanks to everybody for listening to the podcast.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, and I love you guys, the listeners. It's all because of you.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. That was quite nice, listening to Adam Preiser talking all about CartFlows. As I said at the beginning, if you go to wpbuilds.com/CartFlows, CartFlows, and you enter the coupon code WPBuilds, all capitals, no spaces, you're going to get yourself the cheapest version of CartFlows. You can set this against the Pro license, which is $599 normally, so it brings it down to $574, I believe, and I don't think you're going to find it cheaper. But do take advantage of that quickly, because I genuinely do not know when that's going to last. This episode of WP Builds was sponsored by GoDaddy. Thanks to GoDaddy Pro for sponsoring this episode of WP Builds. Here's what you get with GoDaddy Pro. Pro sites to monitor and manage all your WordPress installations, no matter where they're hosted. Pro clients to manage your clients' GoDaddy products on their behalf. And Pro rewards for exclusive discounts and special offers. And the best part, you get all of this for free. Learn more and sign up at godaddy.com/pro. We thank GoDaddy for their support of the WP Builds podcast, and all that it remains for me to do is to fade in the cheesy music and say I hope you have a fabulous week. Enjoy it. Enjoy Black Friday. I hope you managed to get some of the deals that you're looking for. Go to wpbuilds.com/deals. No, /black if you want to avail yourself of those. All right, take care. Cheesy music. Bye-bye.